Hello, Mark Spillman here to talk to you a little bit about the practices that are evident in a particular initiative that I'm a part of in my school district. I work for Houston Independent School District, and I am a literacy coach for the Secondary Curriculum and Development Department. And this year we have launched and we are implementing a program or an initiative in the middle school called Literacy in the Middle. And this initiative covers several of the evidence-based practices. So I'm going to talk through those for just a moment. Number one, the first one is the text-based collaborative learning. In this initiative, we stocked all ELA classrooms with a book club library. Each middle school classroom, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade received a book club library. They also received a classroom library. I'm going to talk about that. That is number 6, diverse texts, which they are at various lexile levels, various genres. Every classroom of every content at the middle school level received a classroom library. So that means that every math, science, social studies, and ELA classroom at grades 6, 7, and 8 in HISD for this past beginning of this past school year received a classroom library. The texts themselves are various texts, various genres, and the content areas received differing levels of texts, different kinds of texts, magazines, things like that. Every middle school content teacher, math, science, and social studies, received a Scholastic magazine specific to their content area. So, for instance, math teachers have received a Scholastic magazine that covers and introduces students to math concepts that are familiar at the middle school and secondary level. It covers several. So I know the assignment was for 2, but I wanted to let you know how great this initiative is. It also covers, I believe, it really well. Number 10, extended time for literacy. Last school year, my department did sort of an internal research and did a mini launch of Literacy in the Middle at 5 middle schools. And our research found that the best way to help middle school students who live in an urban setting and maybe are several grade levels below in their reading comprehension levels, they need to have about 120 minutes of ability to read, 120 minutes across their school day. So we tracked students using reading logs at 5 middle schools across HISD, and initially our findings found that students really read probably less than about 30 minutes across their whole school day. And after bringing it to professional development, PLCs at those campuses, by the end of the school year, we were able to get students to read on an average of about 120 minutes per day. That meant that content teachers had to buy into the idea of literacy and reading and how important it is to help students to become better readers of not just readers, but readers of their content area too. And then number 11 on this best practices sheet or list is number 11, professional development. This past summer, every middle school teacher of every content area received various days of professional development. Math, science, and social studies teachers received 2 full days of literacy professional development for their content areas, and ELA teachers received a 3-day training. This was the first time in several years that middle school teachers received some specific professional development for their level and their content areas. So teachers were just like beaming with the opportunity to receive some professional development that was meant just for them. We had a great launch of professional development over the summer, and this fall and spring, we have provided them with refreshers. So various concepts and skills that we covered in the summer PD, we have refreshed them throughout the school year through planned professional development that we knew about. Like for instance, we knew about November independent reading, which is part of Literacy in the Middle. Our independent reading might start waning, or the joy for independent reading might start waning around November. So at our early dismissal training that we offered in November, we offered strategies for how to get kids back into books after the joy has maybe left them. We also specifically talked about books that are in their independent classroom libraries to help them, the teachers, become better aware of what they actually had in their library. As you can imagine, when we offered that many books to that many students, you can only imagine how many books that is, and that initiative itself. Here I'm showing you the HISD news blog. This was from August of last year, the beginning of August, and you can see pictures here on this scrolling, pictures here of HISD middle schools receiving their materials. So in all, middle schools across all content areas, they received $4.6 million in books for classroom libraries. That's the principal of Key Middle School there, showing off how many books how big the pallets were of books for his school. That included all content areas, so you can imagine they're all very excited. And everybody got on board, right? This is the principal of Attucks Middle School, showing off her pallets and how excited she is about the ability. This is how simple the tubs were. You can see they came already labeled by genre, and the books were already in the tubs themselves. So teachers really, literally had to take them out of the boxes and put them on the shelf. That's the easy part, we know. The hard part was at that time, the hard part was learning the books, getting to know how to use them in your content area and classroom, and that was the specifics of that. I wanted to make sure that I covered the questions here completely. So how is it addressed? So obviously I shared that. It is an initiative that's been shared throughout the year. We have had literacy leaders come and speak to teachers. So not only is it teachers and principals, so that's a big change. The teachers were really excited about the training and what we were offering them, but it wasn't always, best practices are not always known and evident to school leaders that don't necessarily have a background. So these literacy leaders that we consider them to be literacy leaders came and spoke at several opportunities, and they offered suggestions to help build the literacy community at their campus. So early in the fall, we had Kwame Alexander, the author of Kwame Alexander, and Matt De La Pena, the Newbery Award winner. We also, this past in January, a couple of weeks ago, we had Colleen Beers, the author of the Signposts, nonfiction Signposts, offered some ideas about how important it is to get kids to read in school. And, it's always great whenever what those literacy leaders have to say is aligned with what we've been talking about this year, and it helps cement those ideas for our leaders. Teachers are held accountable for literacy in the middle in a couple of ways. Number one, we asked all teachers to participate in the professional development that was offered this summer. This is the launch of this was in June of this year, and this I'll put a link for this in my blog post. But this is introducing the teachers. So we held accountable because we asked all middle school teachers to participate in the summer PD. If they were not able to participate because they were obligated in another way, or maybe they were hired after the PD was offered, I created, or my team and me specifically for the ELA teachers, created an online module that allows teachers to work at their own pace to complete the 3-day training or 2-day training for content areas. And I monitor and manage that on a regular basis for the district. That is one way how they are held accountable. And then second, the curriculum that we have now for HISD in middle school implements all of the best practices that we gave to the teachers in the summer PD. So it's a unique opportunity for PD, curriculum, and implementation to sort of all be together. And there's a great sort of reset for getting everyone on the same page. Of course, schools move at their own rate. Some schools use the master courses, is what we call our curriculum, the master courses, differently because they have a different need for their students. But overall, it's sort of set the pace and tone for teachers and schools around middle schools around the district. I already mentioned the professional development that we offered in the summer and the ongoing professional development. Specifically, we've talked about in our summer PD and in our ongoing PD about how to utilize the classroom libraries that have the diverse texts, how to book clubs. So that was another one of our early dismissal trainings that we offered this fall. How to use book clubs and how to do it in an authentic way and not in an inauthentic, contrived way. We also have met on as a literacy coach. Every middle school has a literacy coach. So I currently have 6 middle schools that I'm assigned to. Some of them are considered improvement required. 3 of them are, and then 3 of them are out of improvement required. So I have a balance. But my job is to go on those campuses and help principals and school leaders with implementation on the campus. So that is another form of professional development that we offer in HISD for this initiative. And then the resources that are available for teachers, I've already mentioned that too. Our master courses, our curriculum documents are aligned to the Literacy in the Middle initiative. So the master courses, I'll take you to the master course now so you can see what a master course looks like. But in the master course, it explains and gives teachers the practice and what that they need to be successful on the lessons that they're doing in the class that they're teaching. So let me just take you real quickly so you can see what our master courses look like before my time is up here. Let's just go to a 6th grade classroom, a 6th grade curriculum. There's a master course for 6th grade. We have a teacher information page that trains them, and then we have lessons themselves that teachers can use to project and teach from.